आदाब, बांगी तरह में एक बार फिर खुश आमदीद। जैसे कि आप देख सकते हैं कि मैं अपने स्टूडियो में नहीं हूँ, एक नुमाया जगह पे मौजूद हूँ। और ये इंटरव्यू भी ख़ास है, वो यूँ कि पाकिस्तान के दुनिया भर से जो ताल्लुक़ात हैं उस पर शहमगोइयाँ होती हैं, बात की जाती है कि शायद दुनिया हमारी दुश्मन है। ये कहा जाता है कि तमाम आलम पाकिस्तान के ख़िलाफ़ काम कर रहा है। शायद इसमें कुछ हकीकत हो, लेकिन मजमूई तौर पे ये नहीं कहा जा सकता कि तमाम मगरबी ममालिक पाकिस्तान की जान के दुश्मन हुए हुए हैं। शायद कुछ कोताहियाँ हमारी हैं, और उसके साथ साथ हमें ये देखना है कि कौन कहाँ हमारी मदद कर रहा है। यहाँ पे मैं अंग्रेज़ी में शिफ्ट करूँगा ताकि जो मेरे मेहमान हैं वो समझ सकें। We in generalization assume and accuse the rest of the world, and in particular the Western world, for working against Pakistan. I do not personally feel that's completely true, even if there may be hints of such incidences. What we have to stop and analyze is where there is credence to such accusation, where there isn't. And if there are countries, if there are people, if there are groups, if there are organizations working in Pakistan's interest, it is important to recognize that, to identify it, and see how we can take further advantage from it, and maybe help them help us. If we keep closing doors on the world, we will not move forward. United Kingdom is one of those countries which has a deep-rooted relationship in the whole region, and in particular with Pakistan as well. And there's a lot of work they are doing in this country, in Pakistan. And today I am honored to be sitting with His Excellency, the British High Commissioner Adam Thompson. Here with you, Adam. Thank you very much for being here. If I may call you Adam.
You may, certainly.
Permission. Thank you very much. I'd like to start with the first thing our viewers would want to say is, what the heck am I doing sitting with Adam Thompson asking him this informal question? But generally, if we just look at the visa strategies of the world, it seems that Pakistan is being locked and pushed into a corner. Countries are isolating, it seems. It's getting more and more difficult. The Western world, in political statements, seems that they're cutting themselves away from Pakistan. Yet, the efforts British High Commission, the British Council, and your government's making, and I've seen many events where representatives of the government have come here and they've interacted with us, seem exactly the opposite. Looks like you're going in deeper, in fact, working with Pakistan. Shed more light on that.
Well, I'm not sure I share the view on visas, and of course I wish...
It was a general statement, not...
I wish our own visa regime was not as expensive as it has to be.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. We are trying to engage more and more with Pakistan and hope that Pakistan will engage more and more with us. It's in both countries' interests. It's not in either country's interest to close itself off, although I think you're a little unkind to Pakistan in suggesting that that is what its foreign policy is doing. But no, you're right, we've had a very steady flow of senior ministers and officials visiting in both directions, and we're keeping that up. And one of the things that you and I, Faisal, are doing this evening is just marking the launch of a new campaign that my mission is running called Celebrating Connections,
Yes.
which is about the wider relationship, not just the governmental one. So I think I can fairly say that at many, many different levels, we are trying to engage, celebrating that engagement, seeking the benefits for both countries of that engagement.
You've talked about celebrating connections. I'd come to that in a moment, but I'd take a spin off that in a light-hearted way. You talk, that's a bridge, bridging connections. It's commonly assumed that the United Kingdom serves as a bridge between Pakistan and the United States, or whenever things go sour between the two countries, UK kicks in. And every now and then we've heard your name prop up, but Adam Thompson did that, and Adam Thompson did that. You act, or your government acts as a bridge. Is there credence to that? Is that valid?
I wouldn't place too much credence in that, frankly. You know, if you try to get between two important, passionate countries like Pakistan, you become the meat in the sandwich and you get chewed, I think. Rather, we are interested not in pursuing US-Pakistan relations, but focusing on UK-Pakistan relations, looking at what our own relationship is with Pakistan, how strong that is, all the different ties, governmental ones certainly, but people to people even stronger.
Okay. 2011 was very interesting in terms of media attacks back and forth between Pakistan and, again, my apologies for invoking US a few times, and I know it may probably making you uncomfortable, so I'm apologizing, but still I have to do it to understand the projects that you're undertaking, and for those watching us to understand. Since the NATO cut-offs, since the souring relationships, one would assume, and there'll be conspiracy theorists out there, that,
there are,
including myself, maybe, that the whole effort of the British High Commission in Pakistan or the British Council is sort of an eyewash, or again a softener for ongoing relationships between Pakistan and the West, and not us shifting towards China or Russia or in those areas.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's not my business to talk about US-Pakistan relations. The United States and Pakistan are going to have to sort it out for themselves, frankly. The second is there's far too much conspiracy theory around, and I think with the greatest of respect, Pakistan and Pakistani TV interviewers spend too much time obsessing about the conspiracy theory and not enough time focusing on just Pakistan getting the job done for itself. You worry too much about the outside world. You need to focus more, if I may suggest so, on fixing the things inside the country and not looking to others. We, in our relationship with Pakistan, are not going to solve Pakistan's problems for it. You're going to have to do that for yourself. What we do think we can bring is some strong and useful friendship, some useful understanding, mutual respect, and a relationship that is mutually beneficial for both sides. Whether that is on narrow security things, which we all spend too much time focusing on, like Afghanistan or terrorism, or on much wider and actually equally important things like growing our respective economies, both of which are in some difficulty, both of which could use help from the other, strengthening our trade, strengthening our people-to-people links, our educational ties, all that much wider agenda.
How do you feel Pakistan could benefit your economy, just out of curiosity, on a larger scale?
We'd like, and we have a target agreed between our two prime ministers of doubling trade. That would enormously benefit us as well as Pakistan. I would like to see more adventurous Pakistani investment in the United Kingdom, and not just, as it tends to be now, British investment in Pakistan.
I'm going to take you slightly off course here. When you say encouraging more Pakistani investment in Britain, we are going through our own economic crises here. And one of the accusations on Pakistani businesses have been that they move out too much, where we have need for our own capital and our own industrial growth. How do you feel Pakistanis investing in Britain or elsewhere would benefit Pakistan in the longer run, economically?
Well, I think that's easy. Just as British companies are in the very liberal business environment that Pakistan offers the international community, able to repatriate their profits and thus flourish as a company in Pakistan and do good for the British economy. Exactly the same is true and is possible for Pakistani companies in the United Kingdom. There are such companies, but we have seen other South Asian countries, competitors of Pakistan's, being much bolder and more adventurous in their external investments. And external investment can be good for a country. I mean, it's easy for the UK to say that because we're one of the world's great trading nations, but it is true for every other country also, and it can be true for Pakistan.
The other countries you refer to, may I take the liberty of saying one of them is India, and who has benefited tremendously from investing in the UK and the West. Am I right in assuming that?
That's correct. In fact, I believe I'm right in saying that currently India is Britain's second largest foreign investor. That's amazing, amazing. Now, Pakistan's economy is not as big as India's, but all the natural advantages that India benefits from, of language, of culture, of history, of common law, that make it easy for India to invest, should make it easier for Pakistan too. But it's just one of the many areas where we are engaged and seeking to engage more closely between the UK and Pakistan.
Trade being
one of them.
And as I see from your Celebrating Connections project, there are 5 areas you're covering: culture, development, sports, education, and trade. Tell me about Celebrating Connections. What is it about?
Well, this is a campaign over 3 or 4 months that my mission is running to see if we can bring to the attention of our publics in Pakistan and in the UK the strength of our ties across a broad spectrum. Our belief is that this is worth doing because if people are more aware of the strength of the relationship, it makes it easier for us to work together. And by us, I mean not just the governments, but also the peoples, whether it's universities getting together or businesses or sporting relations.
When you say strong relationships, where is that strength in relationships between? I mean, there are Pakistanis as expats living in the UK, but how do you feel that will strengthen the relationship between the two nations? Because historically, it's been one-way exodus from Pakistan going towards the West, and also the UK for the longest time, and those who go away from Pakistan are generally assumed not to have much interest back home.
Oh. Well, I mean, I can contradict that. You know, I flew in this morning, and 99% of the people on that PIA flight were British Pakistanis coming back to visit. There's tremendous two-way traffic between the two countries, about 1.4 million journeys between the two countries every year. And the British Pakistani community in the UK is the largest permanent Pakistani community overseas. So that's a very substantial people-to-people link, and it makes it a lot easier for the wider British public to understand Pakistan, to sympathize with Pakistan, to celebrate a modern relationship as well as all the historical links. So we get link-ups in education. I think the UK has more to offer Pakistan in the education sector than any other foreign country. But by the same token, we are blessed with about 30,000 Pakistani undergraduates and graduates at any one time studying in the United Kingdom, proportionately more students from Pakistan than from India or from China, for example. We have sporting links. You have regrettably just thrashed us in cricket, but we can hope to do better in football, and we're beginning to see British Pakistani players moving into top teams in the Premier League, for